very much. Wow, look at this crowd. Oh, boy. In 13 days, we are going to win North Carolina. And we are going to win back the White House, believe me. We're going to bring back your jobs that have been taken from you, that have been shipped all over the world, that have been shipped to Mexico. We are going to bring back your jobs, and we are not going to allow these companies to go to Mexico and other countries and take your jobs with them. We're going to stop the jobs from leaving North Carolina. We're going to start making things again in America. We are going to make things again. The jobs theft, and that's what it is, will end the day I start the presidency, believe me. It's going to be America first again. Remember that, America first. You don't hear that anymore. It's not America first now, that we know, Early voting is underway, so make sure you get out and vote. And by the way, North Carolina, we're doing really well. You see what's happening. The dishonest media back there, they're going, what is happening? They're seeing the lines of people. They're seeing crowds like this. Look at this crowd. Now, they don't mention the crowds ever, but they see them. They know what's going on. They look at Florida. Have you seen Florida, what's going on? They have lines going to the voters' polls, to the booths, that are 4 blocks long in Florida, and there are an awful lot of red hats and buttons and Trump shirts. And generally speaking, those people do not vote for crooked Hillary Clinton. What a group. I love North Carolina. You know, I have a great property near Charlotte, very successful. That means I pay a lot of people. I pay a lot of employees, but I'll tell you what, we have great people. This is a great, great state, and we're going to make it even better. We're bringing back your jobs. 75% of the American people think our country is on the wrong track. That's an easy one to figure, isn't it? We're going to fix it, and we're going to get our country back on the right track, and it's going to happen very quickly. Real change begins with immediately repealing and replacing the disaster known as Obamacare. That one's not even close. And Hillary wants to double up and triple up. What a disgusting situation. And it was no good. It was no good the day it was conceived. Remember Jonathan Gruber of MIT? He said the American people are stupid to have approved it. Unfortunately, they had an iPhone going. You know, that's nice. It has just been announced that Americans are going to experience another massive double-digit spike in Obamacare premiums, including more than a 118% increase for people in the great state of Arizona. So you think you have it bad. In Arizona, they're up to 118%. Don't feel bad. You're going to get yours, too. You're through the roof also. But think of it. Numerous places, over 100%. Even Bill Clinton admitted that Obamacare is, quote, the craziest thing in the world, where people wind up with premiums doubled and their coverage cut in half. Job-killing Obamacare is just one more way the system is rigged. System is rigged, folks. It's all rigged. So when Gruber made that statement, a lot of things happened. And a lot of people started looking at Obamacare very closely. And I will tell you, Hillary Clinton came out, and she wants to double down and make it worse. It's going to be so much worse. Frankly, can we live another 4 years with another Obama? I don't think so. I don't think so. And I think she'll be worse. And remember, the Supreme Court, just put it in the back of your mind, Supreme Court. But we can't take another 4 years of Obama, and that's what we're getting with Hillary. More than 500,000 North Carolinians have been forced into Obamacare. They didn't want it. They were forced. Premiums have gone up in North Carolina by double digits, and this year they're going to go up at a record number. It is catastrophic. More than 250,000 people in North Carolina are losing their health plans next year. 95 of the state's 100 counties will only have one insurance company to buy from. Good luck in that negotiation, folks. They are in a very good position. Hey, who's that carrier? I want to know. I want a piece of that insurance company. Drain the swamp. Look at that sign. Drain the swamp in Washington, D.C. Look at that. You know, I said to somebody the other day, and even today, drain the swamp. We put it in about 2 days ago. I said, drain the swamp. I didn't like it. I didn't like the expression, drain the swamp in Washington. So I said it 3 days ago. The place went crazy. I said, you know what? I'm starting to like that expression. And now it's it's like trending all over the world. Drain the swamp in Washington. So we like that expression. Obamacare will destroy the economy and health care of North Carolina if we don't stop it fast, and I mean like immediately. Repealing Obamacare and stopping Hillary Clinton's health care takeover is one of the most important reasons we must win on November 8th. We have to. And next, we're going to rid Washington of corruption. It is corrupt. What about the Hillary Clinton fiasco? You ever see anything? What about all the WikiLeaks? Hillary bleached. Listen to this. We all know, but we're going to say it. Because nobody has ever gotten away with crimes. And I mean crimes like Hillary Clinton has gotten away with. Hillary bleached and deleted 33,000 emails after getting a subpoena. She got a subpoena from the United States Congress. She said, whoa, we have a problem. She deleted and bleached. Nobody bleaches. Sophisticated people said, we've never heard of it. You know why? Because it's such an expensive process. So she deleted and she bleached 33,000 emails. She lied to Congress under oath. She lied to the FBI. She made 13 phones disappear, some with a hammer. Who here has made your phone disappear by hammering the hell out of it? Oh. We got 2. Anybody else? I want to know, sir, what business are you in? Wait till you find out the business he's in. And remember, with the FBI, she couldn't remember 39 times. Oh, that means 39 lies, right? She couldn't remember 39 times. She can remember other things, but not this. The Clinton crew gave more than $675,000 to the wife of the deputy FBI director overseeing the investigation into Hillary's illegal server. That's all right. Leave him alone. That's all right. You know the great thing about that? We have a protester. By the way, were you paid $1,500 to be a thug? Where's the protester? Where is he? Was he paid? You can get him out. Get him out. Out. Folks, did you see where through WikiLeaks we found out that Clinton was paying people $1,500 plus an iPhone to go out and be violent at our rallies? Okay? It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. But I'll tell you what, they found our people are very tough. They found that out. So we also found out that President Obama, in the emails, knew about the server, even though he said he didn't. The criminal conduct of Hillary Clinton threatens the foundations of our democracy. There has never, ever been a situation like this, and the emails are just a part of it. We're going to turn it all around. I proposed a contract with the American voter that will give the government back to the people. My contract begins with a plan to end the rampant government corruption. And it is corrupt, and she's perhaps the most corrupt person ever to run for the office of president. She shouldn't be allowed to run. She shouldn't be allowed to run. And by the way, remember just recently, again, the emails, WikiLeaks, Donna Brazil, got the questions for a debate, gave the questions to Hillary Clinton. Donna Brazil is under a lot of pressure. Hillary Clinton, did she say, oh, gee, I illegally got the questions to the debate? Call up and have a little conference and say, I'm sorry, I'm a very honest person. I can't do this. No. They only found out about it months later. You're dealing with a very, very dishonest person. I want the entire corrupt Washington establishment to hear and to hear and to heed the words I am about to say. If we win on November 8th, we are going to Washington, D.C., and we are going to drain the swamp. That includes a constitutional amendment to impose term limits on all members of Congress. At the very core of my contract with the American people is a plan to bring back American jobs. We've had it. We're going to bring back our jobs. And you really know what I'm talking about in North Carolina because you're one of the greatest victims of all. We're living through the greatest jobs theft in the history of the world. The greatest, think of that, the greatest jobs theft in the history of the world, not just here. Look at New England. Look at New York State. Look at Pennsylvania and Ohio. Look everywhere. North Carolina has lost nearly half of its manufacturing jobs since NAFTA. Can you believe it? Half of your jobs. A deal signed by Bill Clinton and supported strongly by crooked Hillary. Remember, every time you see a closed factory or wiped out community, the Clintons really did this to you. NAFTA was a disaster. But listen to this. I always say it looked like a typo. They made a mistake. It can't be possible. We've lost 70,000 factories. Now, I thought they meant 700 factories. Maybe 7,000. We've lost 70,000 factories since China entered the World Trade Organization. Another Bill and Hillary-backed disaster. The trade policies of Hillary Clinton have been devastating for workers, unions, companies, and communities throughout North Carolina. Stanley Furniture moved its production from Robbinsville, laid off 400 workers, and moved their jobs to Southeast Asia in 2010. Congratulations, Southeast Asia. They wouldn't be doing it if I was president. Believe me, when they say we want to send our product, whatever the hell they make, we want to send our product back into the United States. I said, we'd love to have your product, 35% tax. Let's see if you move. They wouldn't be moving. They wouldn't be moving. They wouldn't be moving, folks, and the politicians could have done that, but most of them are taken care of by special interests and donors, and the other half are stupid people. They don't know what they're doing. Flex Global Operations closed its plant in Charlotte, laid off 255 workers, and moved their jobs to where most of the place goes. They moved their company to a place called Mexico. And that was this year. Daimler Trucks of North America laid off 2,771 workers. That's a lot. In North Carolina, in 2016, after opening a major plant in Mexico. Steelcase Inc. shifted its production to Mexico, laid off 264 workers in North Carolina in 2014. Leviton, I buy those switches. I'm not going to buy them anymore. I didn't realize this. I buy a lot of Leviton switches. I'm not buying them anymore. Closed its light switch factory, laid off up to 200 people, and moved their jobs to Mexico in 2009. Dell closed its plant in Winston-Salem and laid off up to 1,000 employees and moved their jobs to Mexico and other countries. I have a friend who builds plants. He is, I believe, the biggest in the world. And I said, how are we doing? He said, Donald, we're doing fine. How's your company? Unbelievable. I said, how's this country, our country, the country we love? And he loves this country. He's an American. How's it doing? Not good. I said, well, how are you doing well? He said, I am building the greatest plants anywhere in the world in Mexico. I said, oh, that's great. That's wonderful. Folks, we're going to turn it around, and it's going to turn around so fast. Okay? It's going to turn around so fast. Under my contract, we will immediately bin, and we have to do this. We have no choice. And it's going to be so much fun. I love this. We will immediately begin renegotiating NAFTA. That has been a one-way highway. The money, the jobs, the plants, the factories leave our country. We get unemployment and drugs. So we get the drugs, we get the unemployment, they get the cash, the jobs, the plants. What a disgrace. And you know what? People don't even know it. It's very complex, but they're under a VAT tax system. So it's about a 17, almost 17%. So what happens is every time we make a deal, because we have a different system, we pay 17, they pay nothing. So the agreement has been defective for years, and nobody ever changed it. That's why you never see anybody coming the opposite way. It's always jobs moving to Mexico. You never see, because it's a defective contract. They signed a defective contract just there. You're at a 17-point disadvantage before all of the other disadvantages kick in. Does that make sense? It's a defective contract, and nobody did anything about it for years. Oh, are we going to do something about it? It's going to be done. And I met, as you know, 2 months ago, I met with the president of Mexico. Nice guy. Nice guy. And we're going to have a very good relationship with Mexico. Oh, we're going to build the wall. Don't worry about it. This guy. Believe me. We're going to build it. We have to build the wall. We have to build the wall. We've got to stop the drugs from coming into our country and poisoning our youth. We're going to build a wall. 100%. Mexico's going to pay for the wall. They don't know it yet, but they're going to pay for the wall. Believe me. But their leaders, their politicians, are smarter and sharper than our politicians. We use people to negotiate our deals. The biggest deals in the world, like with China. What China does to this country is unbelievable. We use political hacks to do our negotiating. They have the smartest people. They have like this pyramid, right? From the time they're in first grade, they take the smartest, the smartest, the smartest. By the time they get to the top, you're dealing with very smart people. Unfortunately, they're not dealing with very smart people. And we have a massive, almost $500 billion trade deficit with China. We have an $800 billion trade deficit with the world. That's all going to end, folks. We're going to have free trade, but we're going to have fair trade. It's going to be fair trade. It's going to be a two-way street. And with NAFTA, if we don't get the deal we want, we will terminate NAFTA and get a much better deal for our workers and for our companies, 100%. 100%. And if companies like Carrier want to fire their workers, move to Mexico or other countries, you know, they're in Indianapolis. They fired all of their workers, and it was right around the time of the primary. And boy, I'll tell you, those workers were great. They followed me. They went to so many of our speeches. And remember, that was going to be the great firewall. That was going to be where they were going to stop Trump. Now, I had Bobby Knight helping me. That's awfully good in Indiana. The great Bobby Knight. But we won Indiana in a landslide. And by the way, speaking of Indiana, Governor Mike Pence, great guy. Great. Great guy. Good choice. It's an important choice. Did we pick better than her, by the way? I watched their debate. That one wasn't close, and neither was mine with Hillary. That we beat her badly. We beat her badly. And you saw Biden today, right? Oh, I'd like to get Donald behind the gym. Oh. I dream about that kind of stuff. You know, Mr. Tough Guy. He's a real tough guy, folks. I would dream about that. So they ship their products back into the United States. See, he ought to be tough like that on trade. He ought to be tough like that on so many other things where we're getting ripped off. He ought to be tough like that in dealing with the Veterans Administration because our veterans are being treated so unfairly. So we'll put on a tariff, and believe me, they're not moving. They're not. Companies like Apple will start making their iPhones and other products inside the United States. You watch. You watch. You watch. Everything's in China and Vietnam. I mean, you know, they say Apple. Isn't that wonderful? But they make everything outside. They will start making product, and so will other of our great countries. We will get companies to make product inside the United States. Wouldn't that be nice? And by the way, no shipping, no this. I mean, there are a lot of advantages, but we're going to get it. As part of our plan to bring back American jobs, we will lower taxes on our businesses from 35% down to 15%, going from the highest taxed nation in the world to one of the lowest. I'd like to make it the lowest, but you can only go so far. Maybe someday. We will be a rich nation once again. We will put so many people back to work. But to be a rich country, we must also be a safe country. Crooked Hillary Clinton unleashed ISIS and unleashed death and suffering across the Middle East, and now the terrorism is spreading into our country. She wants, in her words, to have totally open borders, which would destroy America's middle class, and, by the way, destroy our country when you have open borders. You know, 600,000 people could be, if you look at it, the kind of numbers that they're talking about, millions more African-American incredible workers will be put out of work. They are so badly affected by the policies of Obama and Clinton. And I don't even know if they realize what they're doing. Hillary wants to increase Syrian refugees by 550% coming into this country. That's on top of the thousands and thousands and thousands already coming in. And these are people we have no idea who they are, where they come from. Believe me, folks, we are not doing that. The refugee plan would leave us with generations of terrorism, radicalism, and extremism inside of our shores. A Trump administration is going to suspend immigration from terror-prone regions of the world and will suspend the Syrian refugee program. And let me state this as clearly and nicely as I can. If I'm elected president, I am going to keep radical Islamic terrorists the hell out of our country. I will also secure and defend the borders of the United States. And yes, we will build that wall that you're talking about. We'll also cancel all funding for sanctuary cities. Horrible. Hillary strongly supports sanctuary cities like the one that killed Kate Steinle, San Francisco. Thousands of Americans have been killed by illegal immigrants. In January of last year, Grant Ronebeck, 21 years old, magnificent young man, was working at a convenience store in Mesa, Arizona, when he was viciously murdered in cold blood, shot point blank by an illegal immigrant with a long and vicious criminal record. People said, please don't let him into society. They did. He killed Grant violently. Another American murdered in cold blood was 25-year-old Spencer Golvac. He was sitting in his car at a stoplight after dropping off his girlfriend on his way home. An illegal immigrant in a pickup truck pulled up to him beside him and shot Spencer directly in the head. No warning, no talking, no nothing, no reason. The killer had a lengthy criminal record and had been deported 4 times. So many people said, don't let this man out. Get him back to his country. Get him out of our country. The Obama administration refused to do it. I've spent a lot of time with Spencer's mom, Julie. I have a message for the cartels, the drug dealers, and the gang members. When I win, your long reign of crime and terror will come crashing to an end quickly. And we have to pay tribute to our great people in law enforcement. These are great people that are having a hard time right now. And they know where these people are, by the way. When you hear the gang members, the drug lords, all of these, they know. They can tell you in 1 minute who should go, who doesn't have to go. They know. We got some bad ones. We'll also rebuild our badly depleted military. We have the greatest people in the world, but we have a badly depleted military. And we can't beat ISIS. Can you imagine Mosul, right? Mosul. I've been saying this for a long time. And, you know, somebody like Hillary Clinton said, well, he says he doesn't want to go into Mosul. Look, folks, first of all, Mosul was already captured. It was the way we got out of Iraq. We shouldn't have gone into Iraq, and we shouldn't have gotten out the way we got out. But that's why we're going in now a second time. But why can't we do it, like, secretly, right? Why can't we do this quietly? I've been reading about we are going to attack Mosul now, and you have too, for 3 months. And I'm saying, you know, the element of surprise, right? Right? General George Patton, the element of surprise. He didn't talk. He got the job done. Even after he got the job done, he didn't talk. He didn't want to talk to anybody. The reporters wouldn't like him very much. He was a little rough with reporters. You know, these are the most dishonest people. I'm telling you, these are the most dishonest people on earth. And they are going crazy because they put out these phony polls, and then the real polls come out. So today, Bloomberg has a poll. They're very disappointed. Trump is up in Florida by 2 points. And the lines are a lot more than two. Even 2 points is, forget it. The lines are through the roof. Same thing's happening here. You see what's happening here. The lines, those beautiful, beautiful lines, right? It's happening all over the country, happening all over. But they're very dishonest people. General George Patton was rough. He was a rough guy. But his people would die for him. But he was a great general. He wouldn't give notice, we are going to Mosul in 3 months. We will attack. We will attack. And some clown from some institute came out today. Why is Donald Trump saying that about Mosul? Hey, folks, I will put my thought process against these people anytime. He's saying it's okay the way they did it. Well, it's turning out, I just saw it on television, it's turning out that Mosul is very, very tough to get. And the reason they wanted to get in is because the leaders of ISIS, they felt, were living in Mosul. But here's the thing. They were supposed to be the JV, according to Obama, remember? They started out as a little group, a little band of men, in this case men. They started out as a little band of men. The JV became a horrible, horrible worldwide threat. And now they are ensconced in 32 nations. And then I hear Hillary Clinton, who I call a very low-energy person. She's going out and saying, what does Donald Trump know about this? Look, folks, when you're looking to take out the people that are leaders of ISIS and they're ensconced in Mosul, you don't announce it 3 months before you attack. You use the element of surprise and you knock the, you say it, what's the word? And you knock the hell out of them. Boy, oh boy, what a bunch of amateurs. We have amateurs in the White House. We have amateurs as leaders. And honestly, I think there's so many things. You could, whether it's the horrible trade deals, the loss of these jobs. We have no growth in this country. You see that. You see the numbers. Our jobs numbers were announced last week. They were anemic. No matter what we have, our military is depleted. Our vets aren't taken care of. We have stupid people leading this country. They're stupid people. You know, I'd like to use another word. I went to an Ivy League school. I was a very good student. But there's nothing better than the word stupid to describe these people. I mean, there's just no better word. I know many words. But we're going to change that. North Carolina will be a major part of this rebuilding effort, with new advanced fighters flying from Seymour Johnson Air Force Base. Marine battalions at Camp Lejeune. And here's a place that a few of you may have heard of. And a very, very beautiful replenished army out of Fort Bragg. North Carolina is also the home to more than 750,000 veterans, and I told you, the veterans are loving Donald Trump. They do polls on the veterans. I'm through the roof. We're going to take care of our veterans for once and for all. It's not going to be talk. We're going to take care of our veterans, our greatest people. We're going to give our veterans the right to see their doctor of their choice. They're not going to be waiting in line for 9 days, dying. 22 suicides a day. These are our great people. 22, think of that. That's an impossible number also to even conceive. 22 suicides a day. They wait in line for 4 days, 5 days, 6 days to see a doctor. A simple procedure or a simple prescription could solve their problem. They don't get to see the doctor. So they're going to have the right, if this happens, to walk across the street, see a private doctor, go to a private hospital or a public hospital, get themselves fixed up, and the United States will pay for the bill, and it's the cheapest thing we can do, and it's the best thing we can do. The veterans love Trump, and Trump loves the veterans, believe me. You better get out and vote. You better get out and vote, veterans, because we're dealing with a bad person. We will also change our foreign policy. And by the way, speaking of the veterans, she said the veterans are being serviced just fine. You know that, right? She is going to do nothing for the veterans, and she's going to hurt your Social Security big league, but she is going to do nothing for the veterans. Hillary Clinton gave us ISIS and threw the Middle East into turmoil. Do you notice? She gave us ISIS. She did. Her and Obama. Now she's telling you, I am going to get rid of ISIS. What the hell did you let him do this in the first place for? She's been there for 30 years. It's all talk with her. Nothing ever happens. Libya, Syria, New York State is a disaster. She said she was going to bring back jobs. It turned out to be just the opposite. So now she wants to start World War III in Syria against the nuclear-armed Russians. Great, great. You ever notice how tough she talks about Putin? Somebody said to me today, a very smart person, great business person, called up and said, you know, I heard her saying about Donald Trump and Russia. First of all, I don't know Putin, have no business whatsoever with Russia, have nothing to do with Russia. And, you know, they like to say, every time WikiLeaks comes, they say, this is a conspiracy between Donald Trump and Russia. Give me a break. You know, number one, they don't even know it's Russia. Who knows? It might be Russia. Could be China. Could be, if you remember Sony, it could be North Korea. It could be a lot of places. But, you know, she always likes to. In the meantime, she gave Russia 20% of the uranium, right? She gave them 20% of our uranium. You know what uranium's used for? For a massive payment. And Podesta has some big deal in Russia, and they always like to talk about Trump. But we learned a lot about them from WikiLeaks. We learned in the emails she said, and she has terrible, terrible instincts. Okay. So John Podesta, her top person, who I wouldn't want working for me, I tell you, he says so many bad things about her. Who minds? You mind if any of your people, like you have a top job, and you have a person, and they call you, like, not a smart person, you have bad instincts, you don't know what you're doing. I mean, I'm going to have a couple of these. But John Podesta said terrible things about her. But one of the things he said that was, to me, the worst, that she has bad instincts. So she's got bad instincts from her top person. Bernie Sanders says she has bad judgment. So who wants a president with bad instincts and bad judgment by the people that know them the best? What are we doing here? All of the following quotes come from either Podesta or Colin Powell. Hey, look, he's another guy. He did a great job, right, with Iraq. There's a guy, Colin Powell. He did a great job with Iraq. They wanted to get away with it. That was one of the quotes. They wanted to get away with it. You know, the whole email scandal. Her instincts are terrible. Apologies are like her Achilles heel. These are all statements made about her. She's totally programmed. She looked programmed. She has no opinion. Sometimes that would be a good thing in her case. Unbridled ambition and greedy. Everything Hillary Rodham Clinton touches, she kind of screws up. Oh, that's wonderful. That makes us feel good, right? To all Americans, I say, it is time for new leadership. Let's get the Clintons out of our lives. Everything will change in November. Just think about what we can accomplish in the first 100 days. We are going to have the biggest tax cut since Ronald Reagan. We will eliminate every unnecessary job-killing regulation which is destroying our businesses. We will provide school choice and put an end to Common Core. We're going to bring education local. We will rebuild our very depleted military, and we will take care of our vets. We will support the men and women of law enforcement. We're going to save, this is a big one for North Carolina, we're going to save our very, very troubled Second Amendment. It is under siege. And we will appoint justices to the United States Supreme Court who will uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States. Today I was in Washington, D.C., where I just finished building. This is before I started running for president, okay, just so you understand. But I have a great, probably the best piece of land in Washington, one of the great pieces of land, the old post office. And I'm very proud of it. It's a great building. We built it into a hotel. It's on Pennsylvania Avenue, right between the Capitol building and the White House, right smack in the middle. If you're in the real estate business, there's an expression. Always try and get the post office because they were there first. It's the best location. So it's this incredible building. And we had the opening of Trump International Hotel. Now, I've been campaigning, and you've seen that. In fact, even the press is amazed. They are exhausted. They follow me 7 stops, 8 stops, 5 stops, 3 or 4 of these a day with crowds. Last night we had 25,000 people in Florida. We had 19,000. We had 12,000. We have the biggest crowds because you know what? We have a movement like nobody has ever seen before. Nobody. The pundits, Bill O'Reilly, but many of the pundits said it's the greatest, single greatest political phenomena they've ever seen. So I built this building. Now you have to understand, I never practically go home. I work all the time. Hillary makes a little speech. She reads her teleprompter, gets in a plane, goes home, and starts sleeping for 3 days. So you know what I thought I'd do? My kids were in charge, Ivanka, Don, and Eric. Good kids. They're good kids. So I thought I'd take an hour or two and run in and cut the ribbon with them at the building. To show you how low she is, she comes out and says, Donald Trump took time off from the campaign to open a hotel. Okay. Now, she'll do one stop. I'm telling you, she wants to sleep all the time. This is not what we need. This is not what we need as a president. She's a very low-energy person. I saw it in the last debate. I think she did very poorly in the last debate. And then she was so exhausted she barely made it to the car. That's not what we need to negotiate with China. Okay, that's not what we need. But she said I took time off, and I'm saying to myself, isn't that a terrible thing? Where we're out working her, many, many more stops, many more everything. Don't go home. She's home all the time. She takes many days off, and then she said that. Then she said, I used illegal immigrants to build the building. Except I didn't use one for 2 reasons. Number one, I didn't want to. And number two, I'm running for president. Why would I do that? So I went with the E-Verify system. We didn't have one illegal immigrant on the job. Everybody knows it. Nobody was hired. And believe me, we could have hired plenty. They're all over the place. They are all over the place. And I would have saved probably a lot of money, right? But I have the E-Verify system. I didn't hire one illegal immigrant to build Trump International Hotel on Pennsylvania Avenue. And then I see her, and then I see crooked Hillary saying he used illegal immigrants. They will say anything, folks. But the reason I did it, two things. When you have good children, good or bad, you want to support your children. My children worked very hard on that project. I wanted to be with them to cut the ribbon. But the other reason I went there is because it was brought in under budget and ahead of schedule, something this country never hears about. We have a hospital, a VA hospital, where it was supposed to cost like $600 million, and it's going to cost $1.4 billion. But that's standard. Roads that cost double, triple, quadruple, bridges that are a disaster. Everything's a disaster. So I went in and I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. And we built it under budget, ahead of schedule. And that was the name of the news conference, under budget and ahead of schedule. And we built a great hotel. And I wanted to be with my kids to salute them and to congratulate them on doing a great job. I then flew in to another great section of North Carolina. We had another great talk, and we've had a lot of fun. But I just wanted to set the record straight. All E-Verify, no illegal immigrants, no help in that regard, and we have a great thing. And including construction, we put literally thousands of people to work. And that's a great thing, because that's what our country needs. But remember, under budget and ahead of schedule, okay? So Americans are tired of being told what we can do, what we can't do, and what can't be done. That's all we hear. They're tired of being asked to defer their dreams to another day and to another decade, which is really what they mean. Everywhere I go in this country, all I see is untapped potential waiting to be set free. And a great example of that is the African American community. They've been treated so unfairly, so unfairly. And we're going to fix our inner cities. We're going to fix them. African American communities, Hispanic communities, we're going to work on the inner cities, because what Hillary and the groups have done, give me your vote, and then after the election, see ya, I'll see you in 4 years. That's all they do. We're going to fix our inner cities. We're going to bring jobs back to our inner cities, and safety back, and education back to our inner cities. And we're going to do great with the African American community. We're going to do great with the Hispanic community in the election. But we will never realize that potential if we continue putting our faith in a broken political system that has let us down time and time again. Let's close the history books on the failures in Washington, and let's open a new chapter of success and prosperity. I'm asking all Americans to join me in dreaming big. Remember when we used to dream big? We don't dream big anymore. We want big, bold dreams for our future. I'm going to fight for every American in every part of this nation. I'm going to fight for every person in this country who believes government should serve the people, not the donors and not the special interests. I'm going to fight to bring us together as one great nation. We are a divided nation right now. Just imagine what our country could accomplish if we started working together as one people under one God, saluting one American flag. Just think about it. Once again, we will have a government of, by, and for the people. Together, we will make America wealthy again. Together, we will make America strong again. Together, we will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you very much. Get out and vote. God bless you, everybody. God bless you.